Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for everyone who's already subscribed to my channel, and thank you for commenting on my previous videos. I really appreciate it. The whole point of this is to engage with people, and that's the only way that it's going to be really effective. So thank you so much for that. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and click the subscribe button to join the family and have access to all the videos that I'm going to be posting. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. So today I am going to be talking about something that's really important in your research career, and that's choosing the right supervisor, and that can really make or break your research career. So I'm really excited to be talking about that because I feel like it's really important, and I'm going to be sharing a few tips on how to choose the right supervisor. So if you're interested in watching, just stay tuned. Okay, so today's video, like I mentioned, is going to be about making or breaking your research career and choosing the right supervisor. This is so important in really shaping your research career and your career as a scientist, and even in the future. Choosing the right supervisor is the first step that you have to make sure that you really get right in having someone who's going to guide you through your research, and someone who's going to provide you with opportunities, someone who believes in you, someone who's always going to be there to encourage you. Your supervisor is like your first line of defense. If things don't work out, if things are going wrong, if things are going haywire, especially for me in my field in the lab, my supervisor is probably one of the first people that I turn to, after obviously my kind of peers that I have with me in the same line of work. So choosing the right supervisor is super important. So now you have completed your undergraduate degree, and the first kind of postgraduate degree you're going to do is your honors. So that's the first time that you kind of get to choosing your supervisor. The first thing that I really want to say is super important is that you have to identify the research topic that you want to do. So in finding the right supervisor, you have to find a supervisor that is obviously interested in the same thing that you want to do. It's not so important in your honors years, because your honors year is really about gaining skills. So I'm going to talk more in a sense of looking for a master's or a PhD supervisor. So in choosing your supervisor, you have to identify the topic that you're interested in, and obviously your supervisor has to be, you know, in that field, or an expert in that field, or already be doing research that interests them in the field. So your supervisor is not going to change their focus of research for you because you're coming with them with the project that you want to do. So you have to identify a supervisor that is in your field of interest and is already doing research that you're interested in. That's the only way it's really going to work. So that's my first point. My second point is you have to really establish if your supervisor has funding. So how well established is your supervisor? This is super important, but I don't want to say it's like number one, like that it's imperative, because when I had my master's supervisor, he was still starting out. Like I was his first master's student, the first batch, but he had funding and he was supervised. And he was really had a focus kind of research. So it's good to choose a supervisor that is established, but it's also good to look for other qualities in your supervisor, like what kind of research they're doing and whether they have funding. So that was my second point, is how well funded is the supervisor, and this goes in line with the kind of research that they're doing. So for example, HIV research is funded way more than studies on snail mating, for example. So you see where I'm going with that. So it really has to be in line with research that is prioritized in the country, and that's really how your supervisor is going to be able to attract a lot of funding. So that was my third point. Excuse me if I look down, I just don't want to forget any points. My third point is how much time does your supervisor have? So obviously the more established your supervisor is, for example, if they're a director or a dean or a head of a department or something like that, they will have less time than someone who's maybe just a senior lecturer or a lecturer or something like that. So you have to establish, especially now this is separated, if you're looking for a master supervisor, it's okay for your it'd probably be better if your supervisor had more time, because you're less experienced, you're going to need more guidance. But when you're looking for a PhD supervisor, it's probably okay to go for someone who's maybe more established in the field, who has more responsibilities, who is, you know, a director or a dean or a head of a department. That's okay, because you're a PhD student, so you should be more independent, and you're going to need less guidance in the lab and more guidance in kind of the writing and the publishing part. So the third point is really, you have to look at that. Do they have time, and for what degree are you going into? Your master's, where you need someone with more time, or your PhD, where you need someone with less time but someone who's more, you know, established and experienced in the field. So that is my third point. And my fourth point is, do your research. Of course, in true research scientist nature, you have to always do your research. So in this, I'm saying you can probably talk to, you know, their current students or their past students, and just kind of see what kind of supervisor is this person, and are they going to fit you know, into the kind of dynamic that you want. You can look at past students, their time to graduation, you know, talk to them about what kind of supervisor the person is. Of course, those are all traits that you really need to look at, because you don't want to go and have a supervisor if you're someone that's like really sensitive and doesn't want to be pushed, and you have a supervisor that's really pushy and really blunt and just is not going to gel well with your personality. Looking at average graduation times is also important, because you want to see how quickly or slowly your supervisor pushes out, you know, degrees. So that's my fourth point. And then finally, my last point is, you have to get the attention of a supervisor. So it's all good and well to identify them and to do all the research that I've said. Do they have funding? Are they doing in research that you're interested in? But then you have to approach them, and you have to go to them and be like, hey, you know, my name is Zagiti. I'm super excited, like I'm super motivated, and I'm super excited about the research that you're doing. You know, I come from this kind of background, and I'm really interested in you know, joining your team, and I have ABC. So as much as organizations have their own kind of you know, system and in place of how they recruit students, it's really good to go and introduce yourself to your potential supervisor, so that even when you go through the process, they've seen your name, they know you, they know what kind of student you are, they know how dynamic you are, they know how much of a hard worker you are, and you've actually taken the initiative to go and introduce yourself to them. That will really put you in good stead when they're actually choosing and recruiting students, if that organization or department has a system that you need to go through. So that's really important. Put yourself out there, go up to them, approach them, you know, and basically sell yourself. That is really how you're going to get a great supervisor. I have been very lucky to have supervisors that really encourage me, and that believe in me, and that push me as well, because I'm that kind of person also. Like, I don't mind being pushed to my limits. I like that. I like working under pressure. So I've really been lucky in having supervisors that really do that for me and encourage me and believe in me. And that so this whole topic is something that's really important that I wanted to cover, because, you know, people who are successful already, or successful scientists, will tell you that it's really important in shaping your career to choose a supervisor that believes in you, first of all, and that is going to encourage you and expose you to opportunities and really make you the best kind of research scientist that you can be. So yeah, my next video, I'm going to be talking about choosing a mentor, because the two things are different, although they go hand in hand. Like, my supervisor is my mentor as well, and your supervisor can turn into your mentor as well. So I'm going to be covering choosing mentors in a different video, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, like I said before, please go ahead and click the subscribe button so you can have access to all these videos where I share all my knowledge and experience, and I'm super excited for all the content that I have coming. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.